Hello everyone, Shani of Shani and Charlie here, coming to you guys with a quick gardening video. This week I want to talk about the best way, in my opinion, to stake your tomato plants. I stake my tomato plants two ways, but the best way that I found, in my opinion, is staking them. So let me show you one of my tomato plants, the only one that I have that is actually in a cage and not staked with a stake. So let me show you that one first. So this one here is my sun gold cherry tomato plant. This was one of my first tomato plants that I planted, and it's actually in a container. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's actually in a container. And after about a month, we already have some tomato fruit on it that I hope you can see those. I already have a lot of tomato fruit on it, and as you can see, the cage stops here, but the plant just keeps growing. So eventually I'm going to end up having to stake it anyway. That's why I am more partial to staking them than putting them in actual cages. Alright, so just to give you guys a better idea and a better look at this plant, this is in a whiskey barrel container, and let me get a little closer so you guys can see. So right here is where the tomato cage actually stops. And as you can see, the plant just keeps growing out of the cage. So yeah, I'm going to end up having to put a large stake in there to support the top of these plants anyway. So that's why I really don't like. I've done tomato cages each year, and I've done staking each year, and each one that I had in tomato cages, even when I get the really huge tomato cages, they still end up having to need a little bit of support from the actual stake. So let me show you guys what happened last night. This is why we have to stake our tomato plants. We had as you know, I bury my tomato plants really deep, really deep. And even though it was very deep, we had some wind come, and with the wind coming, it took this tomato plant and it just knocked it down. It just knocked it completely down. And it's amazing how it's already starting to grow curved because it's reaching out to the sun. So and there is some gardeners do choose to grow their tomato plants, just let them just sprawl over the ground and grow that way. But when you have the leaves in your plant on the ground, that actually leaves it very susceptible to diseases that are in the ground, and that can cause disease to your tomato plant. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stake this baby, and we're going to stand her back up. And once we get her back up, I'm going to do her brothers and sisters as well. So I'm going to show you guys what I prefer to use when I stake my tomato plants. So when staking my tomato plants, I like to keep everything as simple as possible. There are a lot of different types of stakes that you can buy. I like the bamboo stakes a lot better. They're actually 97 cents at Walmart. Sometimes you can catch them like $2 for $1 at Walmart, depending on what season it is. And I also you can use regular yarn. It's just three simple things I use: a stake, string, and scissors to stake my tomato plants. I actually staked a few tomato plants last year with regular yarn. Now I would not use thread, like sewing thread, because I did that one time as a test, and it actually cut my tomato plants. It damaged them pretty bad. So you can use regular yarn. I like regular yarn, but this was on sale, and you know I'm about bargains, so I went ahead and bought the garden twine. And what you do is try to get your stake as close to the plant as possible without damaging the roots. And you want your stake to go, I like mine to go about a good maybe 45 inches in the ground. That's probably hopeful, but I usually end up getting about 3 because the ground is really tough. So I usually end up getting about 3-4 inches in the ground. So you get it next to your tomato plant, take your tomato plant. Be careful not to break your leaves, not to break your plant. You can break the leaves, but don't break the plant. And you just tie it. Don't tie it too tight. You want to give it room because this plant is going to continue to grow. So you do want to give it room to be able to stretch out and grow. And it's important to tie it in more than one place. And the longer the stake, the better. And as you see, it started to bend, so I'm trying to straighten it back out without breaking it. And that's that. And so as this plant begins to grow up more, but that's too tight. If it looks like it doesn't have room to grow, then it's too tight. So I'm gonna loosen it up a little. I tie it like a shoestring, like a double tie, like a shoestring. And if it looks like, and as this plant continues to grow more and more and more, you'll tie more and more and more and more as it grows. So you continue to tie up as it grows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish up this entire row of tomatoes, tie them up, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I have staked all 6 of my tomato plants in this row. Let me let you get a better look at them. And you can do the same thing not only with tomato plants, but you can do this with anything in the tomato plant family, like eggplants. I have some eggplants that I'm going to stake next week. You can do this with eggplant. You can do this with peppers. I've seen some people like stake their squash. I just like to let my squash grow free, and I just really keep the staking for like pole beans and of course tomatoes. But anything in the tomato family, you can pretty much stake. So in my opinion, staking them with sticks is a lot better than staking them with the cage like that one is. But I hope you guys found this video useful. If you want to see more gardening guides, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to oblige and give you more gardening tips that I find useful. But as usual guys, thank you so much for watching, and toodaloo. Bye bye.